advancements will propel human betterment. This time, we will run the longer race. Because the most rewarding pursuit is leaving the world greater than what it is.
Life's a bit different now, and all of us can sense that difference. We wake up living the new norms as we go about each day following protocols. So when the world started to wear masks, we wore ours with a smile. As you step inside our galleries, keep your numbers low, but your passion burning. Surround yourself with people who fuel your interests. It is our joy to share our sparks of creativity. Here, you can be a blank canvas, and we love to paint a smile on your face. Make sure your hands are ready to enjoy our bountiful feast. You are welcome to try our world-famous grillers that will make your fingers and taste buds busy. These offerings of soup bowls will give you a taste of home. Take a slice or two of the reason why we are the sweetest people around. Grab a box of these homegrown treats, bringing with you our local pride. As you head on to our sites of history, gear up for an amazing discovery. Open your eyes to the grandeur of our past. Have a glimpse of our unceasing faith as you see it written on our pillars. Marvel at the colorful story behind our vibrant smiles. Feel free to run. Don't be afraid to jump. Show your excitement. And fall in love with our old world charm. Get your digital passport ready and create precious memories with us. Capture every moment as you express your grandest gesture of love. Connect and open heartfelt conversations. Have a toast for the simple pleasures. Cherish every milestone, no matter how big or small. In this place, social distancing means beating the outdoors. You can be far apart and still share the same rhythm. Go high, press hard, and find the perfect trail. Fill in the gaps with thrills and laughter. put the fun in isolation. So swing and shoot for your goals. You can be alone, but never lonely. Be one with nature. Times are tough, but life goes on. And in this city, living means falling in love with the arts, enjoying gastronomic adventures, exploring marvelous sights, celebrating new memories, and experiencing personal adventures. So with or without a mask on, smile. You're in Bacolod.
It was once all about the race. If you weren't ahead, you were out of the game. But when everything stopped, we saw the chance to change the game and begin a new path. This time, the bottom line won't be our finish line. This time, we'll chase investments whose real interest is care. This time, every step we take doesn't just change the world, but protects it. This time, our tech advancements will propel human betterment. This time, we will run the longer race, because the most rewarding pursuit is leaving the world greater than what it is.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first Livable Cities Local Lab for this year. The Livable Cities Local Labs are presented by Livable Cities Philippines in partnership with the League of Cities of the Philippines and Globe Telecom. Local labs are patterned after our regular or main lab series as a platform for sharing good practices, innovation, appropriate technology, and for urban planning and LGU management. The key difference is that local labs focus on a locality, whether it's a city, a municipality, or a province. Our first local lab for this year will focus on Bacolod City. It's known as the City of Smiles, an agricultural center, and now a growing services center. We're honored to have Bacolod City Mayor, Mayor Albi Benitez, deliver the keynote message, which will serve as the overarching presentation or summary of the plans as they envision a sustainable city in which people can live, work, and play. After the presentation, he will be joined by Maria Teresa Manalili, Chief Tourism Operations Officer, and Haji Berth Aquino, President of the Bacolod Negros Federation for Information Communications and Technology, ICT. Now, before we start, as we usually do, let's review a few safety reminders. First, be aware of your surroundings while the webinar is ongoing in case you need to stop due to an emergency. And second, always stay safe and practice social distancing, even if you are out of your home. This webinar will be recorded and will be available on the Livable Cities Facebook page. Questions may be asked in the Zoom Q&A chat box, which includes a feature that allows the audience to vote on questions posted by others by simply clicking on the thumbs up icon next to the question. Some of these will be answered directly by our speakers or their staff in the chat box, while other questions may be parked for later in the open forum. If you are joining the webinar on Facebook Live, you may place your questions in the comment section of Facebook, and our staff will pick it up from there and send it to us in the Zoom room. At the end of the seminar, we'll invite you to please fill out our feedback survey. Your response will help us improve our Livable Cities Lab series, and you may also get a certificate of participation by answering the corresponding question in the survey. Now, before we get the program started, we'd like to ask you a couple of questions. And please note that the identity of poll participants is confidential and that the poll does not gather any personal information. Our first question is a very basic and simple one. Where are you joining us from? All you have to do is pick a choice, just one. Where are you joining us from? Metro Manila, somewhere else, the rest of Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao? So just pick one. Where are you joining us from? Metro Manila, the rest of Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao? Okay, so here's our response. We have 1/3 coming from Metro Manila, 9% rest of Luzon, 44% from Visayas, and 12% from Mindanao. So we've got a pretty good mix of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao for today's webinar, especially for Luzon and Visayas. Okay, let's go to the second question. Are you a resident of Bacolod City? A simple yes or no. Are you a resident of Bacolod City? Have we posted the question? Okay, let's proceed. Let us kick off today's webinar by introducing our guest of honor and main presenter, Mayor Alfredo Abelardo Albi Benitez. Mayor Albi is the former representative or congressman of the 3rd District of Negros Occidental. He was the chairperson of the Committee on Housing and Urban Development in the House of Representatives in the 16th and 17th Congresses, and is the principal sponsor of Republic Act 11202 that created the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, or the DHUD Act. He is the lead convener and chairperson emeritus of the Visayan Bloc, a coalition of congressmen and women advancing common development goals of the region. Born to a family of public servants, Mayor Benitez has tirelessly championed policies and programs to make that dream of every Filipino to have adequate housing a reality. He is currently the chairperson of the League of Cities of the Philippines, the chairperson of the Regional Development Council, and the newly elected mayor of Bacolod City. Mayor Albi, thank you very much for joining us today, and congratulations on your election as chairman of the League of Cities. It's our pleasure to welcome you today to the Livable Cities Local Lab. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Albi Benitez.
Thank you, Mr. Luz, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to present some of our innovations here in the city of Bacolod. Is it my understanding that I proceed already, or is this just an introduction?
Yes, please feel free to proceed, Mayor.
Okay. So, our staff made a very comprehensive video, I think, for today's event. Maybe you would like to, will we be allowed to share this with everyone?
Absolutely, Mayor. We'd be happy to see the video.
Yes, sir. We're playing it now, po.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we can take a look at this video before I explain a little bit further.
Of the Philippines, accessible to Manila with inter-island links to Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, is a city of vast and emerging opportunities, a growing economy, diverse culture, and a relaxing yet vibrant city life. Partner with us as we position Bacolod to be a live, work, and play super city by 2025. A super city where its people can sustainably live, work, and play. The rapid growth of informal settlements, especially in coastal areas, will be addressed by embarking on financing drives to place funds on integrated, green, and resilient housing projects that can also solve other urban problems like environment, livelihood, health, and education. Bacolod's best asset is its people. A healthy Bacoleño is a healthy economy. Health is the topmost priority. The city will aggressively invest on the most modern equipment for all health facilities and will utilize innovation in a no-deposit admission for Bacoleños through backchip. Food is life, so no one must go hungry. Food security will be prioritized through Grow and Earn program, wherein the city enjoins and empowers the community to repurpose and transform idle lands into a community urban garden. The program enables growers to earn through contract growing. The city's perennial problem on solid waste will be addressed by transforming the current landfill into a 25-hectare recovery and recycling complex and Eco Zone, Eco Park. Investing in Bacolod is easy. The city has partnered with the Department of Information and Communication Technology to jumpstart and elevate the various ICT programs of the city. In the pipeline are 12 homegrown e-governance programs being developed by MITCS. These e-gov system will definitely level up the business climate. With the right mix of business requisites and inputs in Bacolod City, investors are assured of healthy and high returns. Another public-private synergy in the works is the installation of Bacolod Express Service Office, or BESO. It is a one-stop shop government service center in the comfort and convenience of a mall setup, bringing under one roof both business and social services of 19 government offices and agencies. Bacolod City has a young population, with 33.6% of population under 18, with 6.3% of the population is unemployed. How do we make a competitive education and employment program? The internship program will encourage employers to hire secondary school graduates and tertiary level students during summer and Christmas breaks. Bacolod City has about 600,000 smiling and hospitable people moving at the easy, balanced pace of big city life in a relaxed yet vibrant setting. The city is poised to be a premier meetings, incentives, conferences, and events, or MICE, M-I-C-E, destination. What with its year-round festivals and development of in-city tourism, flagship infrastructure projects, a good blend of rural and urban development in the city gives its people and its guests the luxury to savor the scenic views, easily access the modern urban amenities, and feel the verb, the pulse, and the hustle and bustle of city life. Bacolod City has the right formula of a super city. Good governance, economic dynamism, infrastructure, government efficiency, resiliency, innovation, and a can-do spirit. Bacolod City will definitely get there. Journey with us as we leap to a brighter future where urban problems can become opportunities for sustainable growth. If well managed with strong political will by increasing productivity, allowing innovation, and new ideas to emerge through the advent of technology.
I hope you like that short video. They prepared it all night. They were in a rush to make sure that the presentation is properly presented by this afternoon. I'd just like to start off by saying that I am only a mayor for a couple of days, to be exact, probably about 50 days since June 30. So this is my first foray in as an executive chief of local government. So most of the things that I'll be presenting will be more of our innovations, what we think, and what we have planned out during the course of the campaign. And after being elected, officially elected, and had a few discussions with the city government, we have refined our plans and make sure that they are on solid grounds, so that when we do the execution or implementation of these projects, they are not like just like dreams, and that's very hard to fulfill. I'd just like to give a quote of what I said during my first inaugural speech, and as of this moment, it is still very relevant. So allow me to quote my own words. Was like, you can see it in your screen. I wanted to inspire Bacolodons to dream again, which is something that has been lost in the community, in the city, and not just dream, but dream big. So we wanted to provide Bacolod with the new possibilities of becoming a very progressive city, which we dubbed it to be a super city, and basically redounding to a better prospect for their families and a brighter future for their children. So these are all our plans, and I'd like to share with everybody present here today our unique and innovative plans on how we will make ourselves a super city. So we will start by trying to define what everybody has been saying, the buzzword for all local governments, for all local municipalities and the like, is the term called smart city. If you ask everybody what do they mean by smart city, everybody has a different definition of what smart city is. But as far as we're concerned, we look at smart city as being able to have less manual transactions and more online transactions. So in this case, we will re-engineer government's manual transaction system and make them more digital, make them more online. And one of the things that we did as a first step to making this a reality is to touch base with DICT, the Department of Information and Communication and Technology, to ensure that we are on the right track and we are synchronized with government's vision and direction as far as digitalization is concerned. So next slide. You will see that the first thing that we did was to address e-governance. And so it is a comprehensive system that allows us to do transactions online and making sure that every transactions are properly recorded digitally. And we create a system that uses modern technology effectively and efficiently. I'm happy to note that the DICT Secretary, Ivan Uy, with their undersecretary that have been here to address and take a look at our current situation as far as e-government is concerned, have signified that Bacolod will be one of the pioneers or probably the model for their e-governance format. And as we speak right now, we are waiting for their official contract that will be the operating document for us to move towards e-governance. We have discussed this a bit in terms of how we can migrate to fully systematic e-governance platform, and we are heading in that direction. We had meetings of the minds with the ICT secretary, and it's just a matter now of implementation. The whole team, the whole city, its employees, its department heads have been briefed by this concept, and there was an initial presentation of this so that they can understand completely what it means to do e-governance. So we're just waiting for the final contract, and hopefully we should be moving towards the direction of making what we call a smart city by embracing the e-governance platform and system of our national government. So what are the components of this e-governance? One, of course, is our electronic business information system, or what we call EBIS, developed by our own MIT CS, no? Provides an option for business owners to apply for their business online. So part of our concept of smart city is to ensure more transactions are being done online and slowly moving away from manual transactions. We all know what technology can bring, you know, once we start using it, and so we would like to make sure that we embrace the newest technology in our everyday transactions. And in line with this, we will accelerate the digital transformation of the city's bureaucracy. So it's digitalize the permitting process. We will start with the Office of the Building Official, because it's one of those most transacted departments here in the city. This module, developed by the Department of Information and Technology, automates the process of Office of the Building Official. With the adoption of this system, stakeholders can now apply online, upload their documentary requirements, and track the status of their application. So I will go ahead and expound this a little bit, but basically what we're trying to do here is to computerize every transaction being done by the city. On top of our e-governance system, we are very concerned about health. One of the biggest issue in the city of Bacolod was our health program. So we focused on a system where every citizen of Bacolod will be able to have access to health services. So we are now looking at a program called BACCHIP, Bacolod City Comprehensive Health Program, which identifies and recognizes the citizen of their right for medical services. The vision of this program is to ensure that every citizen of Bacolod will have easy access to medical service. One of the biggest problems in Bacolod is we do not have enough government hospitals. Our Congressman Greg Zataya has successfully lobbied from the national government to fund city hospital, but it was just approved last year. So we are just on the verge of putting it up. So the construction is just about to start, which will take about a year or so before the citizens of Bacolod can avail of their services. So in the meantime, most of our citizens flock to the regional hospital, which is not sufficient. And so it leaves them no choice but to go to the private hospitals. We have about 6 private hospitals here that require a deposit before they are accepted. I know it is not customary to do so, but then in reality, that is what's happening here in the city of Bacolod. So this backchip card, this backchip program will have a memorandum of agreement between the private hospitals and the city, where it ensures that every card holder will be guaranteed by the city for whatever medical expenses that they would need. So this is one of our flagship programs that allows our citizens to have access to medical services, whether it is government hospital or private hospital. Now, on top of this, one of the innovations that we have utilized or thought of was to make sure that all of our health centers are actually equipped with equipment to do diagnostic tests. I think we'll see this in our next slide, where each health center would have a dedicated doctor, enough equipment to do blood tests, urinalysis, to a certain extent, X-ray, ECG. We did try it, and I think you saw it in the previous slide that we had a dry run of this system, and we were able to process a total of about 3,000 plus beneficiaries of this diagnostic program designed for health centers in the span of 5 or 6 days, 5 days. So it is something that we're very proud of. It is something that we feel that is necessary for any local government to adopt, because there is really a program from PhilHealth. They call it an e-consulta, which pays local government as much as 500 pesos for every citizen that they do diagnostic tests. So we're trying to embrace that program of PhilHealth and comply with the requirements, and in the same time ensuring that our citizens get their needed diagnostic tests in terms of their lab chemistry, their heart, their BP, and the like. So what we now call this is our preventive program. So we categorize our health program into two. One is preventive, one is curative. And so the health centers will act as a preventive program that allows our citizen to have a health check. It's just like a health checkup of our citizens, so that they know before things gets worse that they can take care of themselves. And if ever that they need to go to a hospital, the backchip program, the card, will allow them to have access to medical services, whether it is government or private hospitals. On top of that, we have, let me go over our notes. One of our flagship. Okay, yes. Part of going digital is our online payment system. This is also being discussed extensively by both our national government and the local government. And one thing that I've asked the national government, Secretary Ivan, is why not create a standard instead of every local government looking for their own computerization, their system on e-governance. Create one system that will be used by all local governments. In this case, it is easier to harmonize, it is easier to interconnect, and it is easier to handle. So we are now discussing together with PSA, where we will use our national ID as a basis for making sure that our data system would work in the whole country. So as part of the model, Secretary Uy has mentioned that, as I said earlier, Bacolod can be one of our test case or a model pilot project for this program. And on top of that, you will notice that in all enterprise, it's not just the local government, we need to make sure that there is an efficient management of tracking our documents. So we have launched and soon to be deployed. Okay, our city management document tracking system, where we are trying to put a QR code in all of our transactions to ensure that we can easily retrieve, find out where the bottlenecks are, know exactly when papers or the process is taking a long time. We will be able to see that clearly through this efficient document tracking system. And aside from that, we're also looking at making sure that our general service offices asset inventory system is also embracing the same technological advances available with us to ensure that we have a better inventory system of our assets. As we all know that it is, there's a lot of assets in any enterprise, particularly in local governments. And we would like to make sure that our assets are fully documented, are fully tracked, so that in the case of, I have seen in my 50 days time in LGU that some of us don't even know that we have certain assets that have been put aside and just simply forgotten. So when I went around and looked at the different warehouse or storage or areas where the city have stored their assets, we were even the city was surprised that we had those kinds of assets. And since, next slide, since we have voluminous and many assets, and each department would always ask for vehicles, equipment, and all these things. We decided that since it is not used on a regular basis, it's not used very frequent, we started doing what we call shared services. The assets are now shared so that each department will have access to the assets that they may not have to begin with. So let's say if one department has a vehicle that they don't use most of the time, the other department can use that vehicle using this shared asset management system, while the department who asked for that vehicle is not using it. So you can look at it as like, if we're talking about the vehicles of the city of Bacolod, which we have several, they can now have this app, just like when you have Grab, Uber, or any of these app sharing device. We're doing something similar. So we pull all the assets, and each department will just be given an app and access to that, so that they can post the time, the location, where they will use this asset, in this case, the vehicle. And they don't even have to worry about the driver, the gasoline, because that is handled by another department. Next slide. One of also we're looking at innovating is our market management system. We have 3 markets in the city of Bacolod. These markets have been there for decades and have remained the way they were built decades ago. So it looks like Back to the Future. It's a thing. It's a thing that reminds all people how it used to be. But because of progress, development in the city, it is not anymore sufficient for the needs. So we are looking at trying to upgrade and expand our market. And one way of understanding what the vendors and what our market goers need is to have a proper market management system. And our vision here is to ensure that all products going into these markets pass through a monitoring system. What we would like is to ensure that the prices of food remain to be at an affordable level. We will ensure that all produce entering our 3 major markets come directly from farmers. So we have re-engineered our Department of Agriculture, where before they would have made programs and put focus on the production side. We are now looking at closely looking at the supply side. So we would like to know the demand and the supply and put them together by making sure that nobody takes advantage of the gap between the production and the supply and the demand. So the concept now of our agriculture department is on the food supply chain to ensure that these food products are delivered on time, less food wastage, and making sure that the pass on price from farmers to market is affordable. So this is one of the innovations that we are looking in terms of securing food security, or making sure that we have a food source that is affordable and ensuring that nobody will take advantage of this system. Our next slide, Public Employment Service Office System. This information system will provide a venue for providing legitimate employment. We would like to make sure that all employers are given its rightful employees. So we create a database of all of those who are looking for jobs and all of those who are giving jobs, so that there will be a match between employers and employee. And one of those innovations that we're doing in this department or in this division is making sure that they have the opportunity to know their prospective employee before these people graduate. We call this our internship program. The internship program allows employers to have a look at their employees before they graduate. Let's say if they're a third-year college student, they would be given an on-the-job training or some sort of internship to a prospective employer. And this will be the start where they can see whether there is a match between the employer and the employee. And as soon as, or even before they graduate, the employer can already give an employment proposal to that student before the actual graduation. What we're saying here is we're trying to find work for students before they graduate, and not wait for the time when they graduate, and then that's the only time we will look for employment for the students. So we are heavily in touch with our companies here and our employers who are looking for a good person to work for their company, and we are also making sure that we tailor fit some of the skills required by these employers, so that when they do graduate, there is less training activity that they need to do with these new employees. And then next, another innovation that we're looking at is digital archiving. In any government office, and I'm sure whether it's national or local, the minute you enter these offices, you will see bundles of files, papers, boxes of documents that are probably been there for probably decades also. And we feel that the best way moving forward is to digitalize those documents and putting it in a very secure database system. But in doing so, what we did was to centralize all of these documents into one room or one area where some of these documents that are actually not needed, but cannot be disposed because of certain regulations or rules. So we will have a central archiving area where they can store their files. Each department will be given a space where they can store it, but before they are stored, it passes through a system where we can digitalize those documents. I was surprised that even the national government, particularly in this case, Department of Justice, was asking for space for this, because they're saying that the documents in their office is taking more space than the people working there. So that is something that we are innovating as far as digital archiving is concerned. The next slide is Barangay Information System. We feel that without complete data, accurate data, it is very hard to make decisions. So we come up with a system where there is a continuous collection of data at the barangay level, making sure that we are updated and all the data can be properly accessed by upper management or the city, so that we can have a better grip of what's happening. We can have a better idea of the situation at the barangay level, so that it will be easier for us to do planning and make decisions of what programs or system we would like to take to do. And next slide, we have a new website, but this new website, of course, goes without saying. This is just tying things together, where we will use the platform of social media to have access to all of our different constituents, and making sure that information are shared quickly, efficiently, and allowing our citizens to have first-hand information of what is happening in the city. So I will go over some of our the pictures to show that it did happen, everything that I've said, and it is not just me talking about it. So some of this have already been organized and slowly being executed. So we are past the planning stage. We are now on the implementation stage. As you can see in these pictures, that it's true, we are moving towards e-government. We are moving towards the other innovations I've said. So this is one of a picture of how e-government will really work. Next slide. Anyway, this was put here. One of our hardworking employee, it says e-governance is easy governance, effective governance, and also economic governance. And e-governance paves the way for good governance. And it is really our answer for the question of being smart city and the ease of doing business. Our answer to smart city and ease of doing business is really an effective e-governance system. Next slide. Just to show you that these are the offices that will be part of the Bacolod Express Service Office, where a very generous company by the name of Ayala Mall have given us free space in their area to allow citizens to have easy access to all of these departments. As you can see, most of the departments over there are connected to any applicants or any application. So you don't really have to go far. You can hop from one table to the other and process whatever transactions you need with the city government. And that's a picture of how it will look like. So it's been approved. It's just a matter of constructing it and launching this set program. And next slide. As we've said, we would like to focus on health, one main concern of the city. And what we're trying to do is to come up with a program that ensures no citizen will be denied medical service. Next. There, as you can see, they go straight to the hospital. They do away with current practice where indigents must seek and apply for assistance, for financial assistance, where it takes at least 2 weeks to 3 weeks, sometimes more, before they can have access to that financial assistance. But with this card, they have the assistance right at the palm of their hands. They can go straight to the hospital and enjoy the services offered by those hospitals. We do away with a lot of the requirement, the procedure for getting financial assistance from government. And these are the health centers where we can do blood chemistry, medical consultation. We ensure that there's a doctor in every health center. And instead of going straight to the hospitals, where sometimes it gets congested, they can go straight first to the health centers and get a doctor's advice and do primary or basic diagnostic tests to determine whether they need to be transferred to the hospital or not. Next slide. This is part of our video, basically giving a decent and affordable home for every Bacolod citizen. So this is in part of the national housing program being devised and planned by our newly created Department of Human Settlements. We are in direct contact with them to address this, and we will be signing soon again, just like the ICT. The Department of Human Settlements will make Bacolod one of its pilot projects, pilot local government with their housing project that aims to deliver 1 million houses per year or 6 million houses in the next 6 years. So as you can see from next slide, from this kind of housing structure, we would tend to deliver there, as you can see.
Apologies for that. We've lost the mayor's connection. We'll wait till we get him back. But in the meantime, let's move on to our next speaker, and allow me to speak to the mayor a little later on when he gets back on board. But thank you to Mayor Albi for the presentation, a very detailed one on how he wants to make Bacolod an intelligent city, very focused on the specific service that he wants to digitize and transform. And I think in a matter of months and years, we will see really better government services, e-government services to the city's residents. Let me move on to our next speaker, who's the Chief Tourism Operations Officer of Bacolod City, Maria Teresa Manalili. She's a believer in creating value through the exchange process, and she's developed marketing competencies through experience and hard work from her previous profession as advertising and promotions manager at Philippine Airlines and a marketing manager of Air One Aviation. She's now in charge of promoting, I guess, the city's whole tourism program. And to speak about Smile, you're in Bacolod, and talk about Bacolod City's tourism programs, let's all please welcome Tere Manalili. Sorry, Mayor's back on. Hi, Mayor.
Yeah, sorry.
Lost your connection a bit.
We had we had a brownout. We lost for a couple of seconds.
Sure.
So we're back. I think we're on.
Let's get back, Michan, to the mayor's slide deck. Thank you. Please go ahead, Mayor.
Okay, sorry about that. We didn't anticipate that it would happen this afternoon. But anyway, so that's one of our programs, is to ensure that we will be able to deliver decent and affordable housing for most of our informal sectors. And as you can see, these are now on-site projects, that we go multi-story instead of just 1 or 2 stories. We're looking at 3 to 4 stories to be able to accommodate more families. Next. And one thing that we feel that we should pay attention is to be able to make Bacolod a green destination. In other words, we would like to see more greens, although as we have more buildings and as we develop the city and urbanize, we have to make sure that we do not lose our green cover. And one way of doing this is to ensure that we provide more parks and gardens all over the city. Parks. This is so that there will be people where they can have fun. Thanks. I did mention this, so this is a recap of what I just mentioned, that we want to make sure that from farm to market to table, it is properly delivered and reduce wastage, which is one of the cause of high prices of goods, and ensure that the government directly intervenes in the distribution or supply chain, particularly in food. So I did mention this earlier. Next. This is the internship program where we feel that we won't wait when students graduate. We'll try to place them even before they graduate from the universities. Thanks. Okay. One of our early success in the city of Bacolod was to remove all of these so-called spaghetti wires. And I'd like to thank Flo for participating in this exercise. I found out that majority of the wires that we see along posts or along the streets are actually not being used. As much as 80% of these wires are actually non-operational. And so I asked how come nobody's taking them down. And they said, well, I guess nobody gave them the directive to do so. So we called all the telcos, all the cable companies, as well as our electric cooperative to jointly take down all of the wires in the city. So we are now scheduling certain areas where they are tasked to remove those unutilized, non-operational wires. And also for the poles, some of the poles are redundant because we have electric poles. Our electric cooperative has put a post there, but since the telcos and the cable companies are not present to transfer their wires from the old poles or the old posts, so that's why it takes a while. So what we did was to jointly ask the telcos and the cable companies and the electric company to do all the removal and transfer of the wires from the old post to the new post simultaneously. So as you can see, how much wires are being removed from those streets. And everybody was surprised that it's that much. Next. We are very fond of solar technology. We would like to expand the use of solar technology in lighting our streets, lighting our government offices, even delivering basic needs such as water. So we are exploring and making sure that we fully utilize the benefit of solar technology. Next slide. CCTV is one of those systems that we feel will be able to address basic order, traffic, and making sure that most citizens follow the rules. And this is something that we are very optimistic and making sure that this will be one of our flagship programs that will be properly installed. As you can see right now, we do have a CCTV system, but we'd like to expand this and upgrade it so that we can cover the whole city, and as well as put an AI system that allows us to automatically catch those traffic violators. Next. This is our concept of waste management. We are now looking at creating the first ever recovery and recycling complex in Eco Park. We are looking at applying with PESA to make this an economic zone that allows locators and proponents of recycling and recycling facilities to locate in this area to give them the incentives. And so we will try to reduce as much waste as we can by reusing them or recycling them. This is one of our ambitious program that we are studying right now. We have already gotten interest from different proponents in terms of recycling it to fertilizer, recycling plastics, glass, metal, paper. Some of our biodegradable waste are being considered for aviation fuel. We're getting all of these proponents, and what we want to do is convert them into like an economic zone where they handle all of these waste and recycle them into more productive products. And at the same time, we are making sure that waste coming from the source are properly segregated by, for example, in markets, it is about 90% biodegradable, will go straight to our composting or biodegradable recycling facilities. And all the hauling or the trucks that will be getting our garbage and properly monitored with GPS. So our citizens will know exactly when the truck will be passing by their house. So it's not to be in the dark, whether there will be a truck that will pass by or collect their garbage or not. So this is our proposed waste management, but we're excited because we're really looking at a recycling facility, and not just to recycle with one product, but making sure as much products as we can get out from our waste. And lastly, that is all. So it's all of that are actually a little bit more than the planning stage. We are really on the verge of launching and implementing these programs. And it's just a matter of really getting the proper documentation, making sure the proper proponents, the proper stakeholders are already involved. We are now looking at signing all of this and formalizing this projects and programs. So hopefully, if you give me a time maybe next year, we will be able to show how we have fared in the delivery of all of these projects that I just mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for the very, very comprehensive presentation. And I like how you have very specific ideas and sectors that you're targeting for, your intelligent city, for your smart city. And it's full of specifics. So I think that's great because people know how they can help, and people know, or your residents will know what benefits they'll receive. I was just thinking that, for instance, for your health project, one of the technologies that we have come across is a nudging technology, which is just to send text reminders for people to do things like get a checkup or get vaccinated against measles or dengue. And instead of having people call them, and instead of having a lot of no-shows, this text reminder can get people to actually come out. And we've seen pilot pilot projects in small municipalities increase compliance. So we're about to go into that, and something we'd like to introduce you to. And then I was very fascinated by your solar lampposts, because I think those lampposts, we could perhaps connect a lot of other technology on the lampposts, including Wi-Fi routers and cameras and sensors, so that not only getting light and having it powered by solar power, but you could get a lot of other uses out of a lamppost, and sort of look at an intelligent lamppost concept that would connect back to your command center that you have for your CCTV. So there's a lot of things I think that can be done, but thanks so much for walking us through what your plans are and your live, work, and play concept. This really resonates with us in Livable Cities, because we've always felt that when people think of a country, they're really thinking of a city. And when they think of a city, they think of a city where they either want to live in, work in, visit, or invest in. And it's specific to a city rather than an entire country. So I think you're really on the right track with your live, work, and play paradigm that you have in the framework. So thanks for that. I see a few questions in the chat box, in the Q&A box, and I'll get back to you after that, Mr. Mayor. So our next speaker, I'd like to get back to our Chief Tourism Operations Officer of Bacolod City, Maria Teresa Manalili. She worked previously as Advertising and Promotions Manager for Philippine Airlines and the Marketing Manager of Air Juan Aviation. And she's currently in charge of Bacolod City's tourism programs. And here to speak to us about Smile, You're in Bacolod, let's please welcome Tere Manalili. Tere, please go ahead.
Good afternoon to the officers, management, and viewers of Livable Cities. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you. Smile, you're in Bacolod. Welcome to Bacolod, a highly urbanized city and home of the world-renowned Mascara Festival. We have a land area of more than 61,000 hectares, a population of 600,000 people in 61 barangays. Smile, you're in Bacolod. This is our new tourism brand. Our mission is to speak to the entire world, to show that our passion and loyalty are present in every corner of this city, to discover and share new hidden treasures the city holds while celebrating everything that everybody has come to love about, to unearth the truth that around every corner of this beautiful city is yet another reason to smile about. There's something special about Bacolodnons, whether he or she has chosen to live in another part of the country or from across the Pacific. The reason why we smile a little sweeter and stand a lot taller when we say, I am from Bacolod. We are laid back, yet tenacious, mild-mannered, yet passionate. Most of all, no matter where we go, we live as if we never left town. It's that little something you hear in our voice and that unmistakable lullaby accent. Enjoy the genuine and warm hospitality of the Bacolodnons and convenience of a modern way living in a homey ambiance. Marvel at our iconic Bacolod City Government Center, the most photographed city hall in the region and perhaps in the entire Philippines. The center point of our city is the Bacolod City Public Plaza, which stands as a symbol of our past and present. Take a photo at our gazebo or bandstand. The sides of the gazebo are inscribed names of Beethoven, Mozart, Wagner, and Haydn. Be mesmerized with the city's glorious history under the gaze of our 140-year-old San Sebastian Cathedral. At the heart of the city center rises lifestyle malls, which enhance our shopping experience. Delight yourself with a wide array of local and global offerings in our lifestyle malls. We have prime business hotels raising the bar for accommodation experiences enjoyed by tourists and business visitors. Hop into our comfortable and nice hotels and make your stay memorable. You dig into the culinary feast Bacolod is known for, our chicken in asal, celebrated as the food icon of the city. Savor our pancit, known as the local bulalo of Bacolod. Taste our kadyos, baboy and langka, or locally known as KBL. We have our savory Visayan stew soup called laswa, made from the mix of green leafy vegetables. Your Bacolod trip is not complete without bringing home our pasalubongs, our sweets and desserts, our piaya and napoleones, tarts, pinasugpo, cakes and pastries. Almost everywhere in Bacolod City is our yummy, fresh seafood. We are a city in constant motion. Ride the mountain bike trails in Granada and Alangilan. Discover our new sprouting outdoor coffee shops and alfresco restaurants. Play golf and enjoy the greens in the company of our friendly local golfers. In line with the Leave, Work, Play priority programs of our city mayor, Mayor Albi Benitez, we are developing and enhancing priority tourism products in Bacolod City. MICE tourism, food tourism, smart tourism, heritage, culture, and arts tourism. One of the primary tourism goals of the city is to make Bacolod a MICE capital of the region. Recognizing the value of strong cooperation between the government and private sector, coming up is the establishment of the Bacolod Meetings and Conventions Promotions Board, or Bacolod Conventions Bureau. We have the following strategies and action items in the pipeline. Development of incentives to encourage the entry of MICE. Development of programs to develop globally ready MICE professionals through courses, trainings, competencies to develop quality professionals for the MICE industry in Bacolod. Development of baseline data to serve as basis for MICE programs and production of promotional collaterals. With the full support of the Department of Tourism Region 6 and MICE tourism stakeholders, we successfully held the Philippine MICE Conference in 2018. And this year, we had our MICE 101, 102, and MICE Planning and Branding Workshop. Soon, we will launch our Bacolod MICE brand. Another top tourism goal is to make Bacolod City a top food tourist hub in the region. Among the strategies and action plans are encouragement of more restaurants to secure DOT accreditation, development of programs and capacity building related to food tourism, trainings on food safety, and marketing promotions. Another top tourism goal is to provide our tourists a complete travel experience using the convenience of technology. In the works are the following: digitalization of tourism arrivals, development of tourism website, and mobile applications for easy access of tourism services. Another top tourism goal is to develop and enhance our heritage, culture, and arts. In 2019, before the pandemic, we had our Bacolod City Trade and Tourism Mission in USA. Our Mascara Festival dancers were the first mask-based festival dancers to perform at the Disneyland Performing Arts in Anaheim, California. Our Mascara Festival dancers were also the first mask-based group to perform at San Francisco Cultural Center. The best foreign group to perform besting 21 other groups in the 2019 Colorful Daegu Festival in South Korea. And the first ever foreign performing group to have graced the Maduhi Festival in Ulsan City, South Korea. So come and witness our grand Mascara Festival celebration starting October 1 and 23, 2022. With the leadership of our City Mayor, Honorable Albi Benitez, this year's theme is Balik You Home, to inspire everyone that despite the pandemic for more than 2 years, the Bacolodnons are working hard and uniting together in bringing back the radiant, beautiful, and iconic smiles in Bacolod City. We have the following major mascara sites and extension sites: Lacson Street, Public Plaza, Bacolod City Government Center, Baywalk, Upper East, and Panaan. The 3-week-long celebration is the grandest ever, dubbed and themed attractions, activities, and events. The first week is a series of sports events from different regions competing in the Mascara Olympics. The second week is a series of Mascara Trade Fair. The third week is the highlights of the grand celebration composed of Mascara cultural activities. The local government of Bacolod City, led by our competent Honorable Mayor Albi Benitez and Bacolod You Home Foundation, are preparing an entertaining, vibrant, eclectic, and energetic series of events, attractions, and activities showcasing colorful costumes, dance parades, street dancing, among others. So please come, join us, and smile again with us. Last week, Bacolod City celebrated the grandest Bacolod Rum Festival with Tanduay Rum as the naming brand. Tanduay Bacolod Rum Festival showcased Food Park Alley at the Bacolod City Government Center, barrel and battle art competition, street art competition, mixology and flair tending, and culinaria, music festival, and street dance competitions. Last Saturday, August 20, 2022, was the culminating activity and music festival. The Tanduay Rum Bacolod Festival gathered approximately a huge 35,000 audience at the Bacolod City Government Center grounds. Another big festival that we celebrate is the Bacolodian Festival, which is our local celebration of the Chinese New Year. Bacolodian comes from the word Bacolod and Laudian, a Hokkien word for celebration, overflowing happiness, and good fortune. So during the Bacolodian, we showcase giant lanterns, float parade, magical fireworks, Chinese and Filipino food alley, street and arena dance. Let me share with you our tourism arrivals. In 2019, before the pandemic, we had around 803,000 visitors. In 2020, because of the pandemic, our figures dropped at negative 82% with only 143,000 visitors. In 2021, we recovered slowly with a slight increase of 3.12% at 147,000 arrivals only. 2022 is quite a good year. Slowly, we're picking up the pieces with increasing visitor arrivals at 19,000 in January, 24,000 in Feb, 35,000 in March, 38,000 in April, 46,000 in May, and 57,000 in June. Our conservative projection is at the end of the calendar year 2022, we will have around 500,000 to 600,000 visitor arrivals, which is 284% increase from 2021. This does not include yet the tourism arrivals we anticipate for the forthcoming Grand Mascara Festival in October and other upcoming events up to December. Now, let's go to DOT accreditation report. In 2020, we had 63 DOT accredited establishments. In 2021, we had 71 DOT accredited establishments. This year, 2022, we now have 119 DOT accredited primary and secondary tourism establishments. Once again, thank you very much to Livable Cities. Madamong ginasalamat, mayong hapon sa tanan. Smile, you're in Bacolod. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tere. You're doing a great job. Now after listening to your presentation, I'm sure many of us watching this webinar want to go and visit Bacolod. So I can tell you I am due there for a small family reunion in January, and I look forward to really enjoying the sights and the food and the activities you have in the city. Now, were you going to also show us a video as well, or will you show that later?
Was actually shown a bit earlier already.
That's the one earlier. Okay, great. Anyway, terrific job, and really we all know Bacolod, of course, for Mascara, but you have many other things obviously going on there, and it's something that I think is worth a visit. So I look forward to my next visit, and I can tell you I enjoyed my last visit a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, and really enjoyable, and enjoyed the food in particular. So thanks for that, Tere. Let me now go to our last speaker before we go to the Q&A, and I'd like to introduce our last speaker, Haji Berth Aquino. So Haji is currently the president of iReply Back Office Services, Inc., and a founder of Audacity Studio. He also sits as the president of the Bacolod Negros Federation for ICT and is a trustee of the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines. Here to speak to us today about the private sector experience of investing in Bacolod City, let us all please welcome Haji Berth Aquino. Haji, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction, Mr. Luz. Good afternoon, everyone. To the organizers, thank you very much for having me. So without further ado, sir, can you verify if you're able to view my screen already?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So welcome to Bacolod. This afternoon you've already heard a very comprehensive presentation from our honorable mayor, a very competent, very innovative systems thinker for an local executive director. So please allow me to share to you the perspective of benefit, or coming from the lens of benefit. So this afternoon, I'll be sharing to you a snapshot of the IT BPM industry of the city, how we have came about through fostering these strong linkages with our partners, the current challenges that we face as a sector, and how the city in particular and all our stakeholders are working together in addressing these needs, and what's in store for us in the future as far as the IT BPM is concerned. So the IT BPM industry of Bacolod. So in 2010, 2 years after the creation of the IT focus team of Bacolod, we have reached the top 100 spot of the Global Competitiveness Index, being run by or organized by the Columns Competitiveness Index. In 2003, as early as 3 years after reaching that top spot, consistently, through consistently maintaining that 90% metric in business environment, we have been recognized by Collins as Center for Excellence for Voice BPO. With that, currently we are lucky to house or accommodate the top 10 major IT BPM companies in the country, namely Teletech, Concentrix, Teleperformance, Transcom, Spanish Shattuck, Ubiquity, iCore, ARB Facilities, Focus Direct, and Focus Inc. All in all, so these are the top 10 major IT BPM companies in the city, but we also have 20 homegrown small to medium scale IT enterprises. So that overall comprises, we estimated in 2022, we estimated that the total IT BPM industry is about 37 full-time equivalents. And with an average of salary of 17,000 pesos monthly, this introduces an annual cash infusion to the local economy of about 8 billion pesos. Now, this only, and I'd like to point out, especially with the pandemic and with the new trend that was introduced by the industry, I should say the freelancing gig economy has been bigger than ever. Currently, we are actually facing some challenges in securing the talent that the industry needs. But I believe that in later slides, we'll be able to share to you how we're addressing that need at the moment. Also, I'd like to point out that in every one direct employment in the IT BPM industry, this actually creates an indirect job of about 2.5 to 3 indirect jobs. So that's the multiplier. You're actually looking at double, if not triple, the digits that I'm currently showing right now. So as they say, every progress has its price. And currently, we are experiencing some the effects of that. One is everybody being able to afford a means of transportation, and that has since contributed to a denser flow of traffic. Luckily, this has been identified as one of the major thrusts of the current administration, and so with the help of the people from the local government, we're able to address this concern of denser traffic at the moment. So moving on, so how have we created this environment and maintained this very healthy ecosystem to promote the economy of the city. So well, as Bill Gates once said, our success has really been based on partnership from the very beginning. And true enough, in benefit through the leadership of then Attorney Josel Batapasige, now a USEC to for the Department of ICT, we have fostered a very healthy collaboration between all our stakeholders. So one primarily is our partnership with the local government, with the academe, and of course, a very strong relationship with all our stakeholders coming from the private sector. So in every event that we organize, so these are our some of our stakeholders. So we maintain a very healthy relationship with our local NGAs here, and also all the other stakeholders coming from the academe and the private sector. I guess this picture or this image clearly defines how that bond between benefit and the city officials, how strong that bond is. So I'd like to emphasize that the relationship between benefit and the local government, led by the leadership of our honorable mayor Albi Benitez, has never been stronger, or has never been stronger as this. So during that consultative meeting with the mayor, we have identified 4 major trusts of the LGU, not even initiated by the government, but this definitely directly impacts the IT BPM industry. So I guess, to address the challenges that continues to reverberate globally, in fact, not only in our country, the city will soon invest a significant portion of its budget to upskill and to reskill its labor market. The Bacolod City College, as what the mayor shared earlier, will receive significant support from the city to ensure a constant stream of fresh talents to address the ever-growing demands of the market. Also, through the authorship of then Councilor Josel Batapasige, there is actually a city ordinance that will soon be implemented through the help and support of the local government for in making sure that there is constant support from the government in addressing the talent development challenges of our times. Of course, you've seen, I feel like we're very, very lucky at the moment to have a very innovative, very forward-thinking systems thinker, in fact, for a local executive. Because right now, through the leadership of the mayor, we can definitely expect a paradigm shift even from the traditional ways of resolving a problem. So clearly an innovative and sustainable approach is on the horizon, as the mayor has gladly shared with us earlier. And the private sector cannot wait to experience all the effects of this innovative solutions that they have for us. For digitalization, the migration of certain transactions to the cloud will not only provide the ease of doing business for our stakeholders, especially the private sector, but definitely will generate opportunities directly for the community. And of course, by fostering that innovative and innovative approach, that only elevates the exposure of these skilled talents in new technologies that hopefully, as we say here, whatever rises the tides floats all boats. So through that innovative approach, we're hoping that our labor market will be able to have that exposure and ultimately create that uh, uh, atmosphere of of uh, of of, of inclusivity and spirit of innovation for the entire community. Um, for the infrastructure, right now there is a steady growth in demand and for connectivity, especially with the current trend of the labor market leveraging their, I guess, um, uh, the current situation of working from home. So there is a steady uh, demand for connectivity, reliable power, and real estate even. So we're happy to know that the city has its focus on these key infrastructure projects that will directly address these needs and ease up the burden on the existing systems that we have. So just to share, uh, last few weeks, we have welcomed HCL Technologies, a very strong organization of 200,000 people. They have about uh, they have about 10,000 employees in Manila, and they're trying to grow into the countryside. And we're very happy to share that Bacolod is actually one of their priority locations at the moment. In fact, they're actually at the last leg of their due diligence process. Um, Also, we've recently hosted IDPAP during the roadshow here in Bacolod. And in fact, the president of IDPAP, Jack Madrid, was able to meet with the mayor and was able to interface and engage with him and discuss potential projects and trusts that will directly impact the IT BPM industry. And Jack is very happy that as you've witnessed already, we have a very forward-thinking local executive at the moment that has recognized the IT BPM as being the pillar, one of the pillars or strong economic driver for the city, and is very supportive of the sector. We are very excited to what we're happy to see in the last few weeks that the mayor has gone into office is that the mayor is very open to suggestions and is able to very receptive of the inputs of the industry. So we're actually very excited to host IT BPM stakeholder meeting in September. So these is in the last few weeks we've witnessed that the mayor has in every sector hold stakeholders meeting to ensure that the needs of every sector is being addressed, and if possible, it can be addressed in a more inclusive, sustainable way that seamlessly, I should say, uh, um, create that seamless approach in addressing the problems where all the sectors are being are able to contribute to addressing that issue. So what during our meeting with our stakeholders, we have addressed we have identified these areas of concerns. However, as you've already seen, in the first 100 days of our mayor, we have seen significant changes in the dealings with the city, and how these concerns are already being addressed. So we're very confident, and we're very positive of the outcome of all the thrusts of the local government, and we're very positive that these needs will be addressed in a very timely manner. As I've mentioned, we're very happy to see right now that the local government is being very proactive, and at the same time being receptive to the inputs um, of the industry. One of the major concerns at the moment, even globally, is this skills gap between the academe and the industry, and of course the lack of talent because of the skills gap. So as the mayor shared earlier, so we have the Bacolod City College, and soon we'll be implementing the city ordinance authored by Attorney Giselle, in establishing the Bacolod City ICT training workshop scholarships for the IT BPM industry. Also, as part of our efforts in addressing the skills gap, recently we have, through the leadership of our regional DPI director, Ms. Rachel Nofable, we have conducted the IT BPM Startup Innovation Roadmap, to map the current skill set that we have, identify where we're falling behind, and to address that concern. So we will soon. I think we're in the process of collating all the information, and we'll hopefully soon be able to share to the public the result of this road mapping activity. We're very happy to share that in our efforts to address the needs of the industry in this 21st century, we are happy to share the participation of Mapuang Malayan Digital College, that actually introduces a very innovative approach to learning. So we're very excited to how they're able to address the current needs of the market, and at the same time introduce a new paradigm to the learning ecosystem that we have for our city. Their digital hub, their hub is actually located as well in the Ayala Capital Mall. Also, we're happy to share that there is soon to rise in the heart of Bacolod, beside SM City, National University is trying to establish a footprint to our city. And of course, as we continue to build these strong linkages, we are very happy, we're very proud to share our founder and chairman of the Board of Trustees, our very own USEC Attorney Giselle Batapasige. I'm sure Attorney Giselle will be working hard to ensure that her efforts will permeate to every city in the countryside. But we're just very happy that we have this very strong, very open link to her office, and we're able to very easily voice our concern, and hopefully her office can support in addressing those concerns. Also, I'd like to share to everyone that in fact tomorrow we'll be traveling. Benefit will be traveling to Boracay in celebration of the 10th year anniversary of the Visayas ICT conferences. So through the leadership of the mayor, this event is actually being co-organized with Aklan ICT. So Benefit, both Benefit and Aklan ICT is co-organizing this event, and we're very happy that officials of the city will be able to share this event and be one of the main participants of this momentous event that we have for Victor. Also, very recently we have built a very strong relationship with the Asia Pacific arm of Amazon. And we're happy to share that in the next few months we will be launching trainings that are being organized and facilitated by Amazon Web Services themselves. So we're very excited to how these programs, these training programs, directly affect the skill set and the hireability of our talents here in the city. So we have three currently we have three programs that we want to pursue. One is the AWS Restart for people that are unemployed or underemployed, and hopefully get them through training, introduce them to the cloud services, and be introduced to the partners of Amazon Web Services themselves. So we're very excited to how these initiatives will pan out. Another program that we have is something that is more focused to the women in our community. One is She Builds. This is an 8-week-long program that we're hoping to introduce our women into the ICT and get them more inclined into the technology. So with all this, through with a very aggressive and very innovative approach of our mayor, we in Benefit is actually very excited for what's in store for us in the future. In 2016, we have identified these target areas for growth. One is software development and ICT, healthcare information management, and creative processes. To give you a more detailed sense of what we have envisioned for the city as far as job creation is concerned. In 2016, we have identified 60,000 jobs. Currently, as I shared earlier, we are at 37,000 full-time employees. And back in 2016, we have identified the target of 60,000 by 2022. Unfortunately, because of the effects created by the pandemic, we fell short of that target. So now, coinciding to the 2030 sustainable growth, we first initially targeted 60 by 2030, but I think because of the aggressiveness of our local government unit at the moment, I think we'll try to even target 80 by 2030. So as shared earlier, so we have currently we have iReply, Codev, and soon HCL as major knowledge processing outsourcing companies that are trying to grow their footprint in the city. So with the target of 60 full-time employees, we're hopefully is able to grow the numbers from earlier to now, hopefully, bringing in 13 billion peso of direct cash infusion to the local economy annually. So we're very excited with all that. We're very excited for a brighter and definitely a more bolder Bacolod city through the leadership of our local mayor. So thank you very much for giving me the time to share our sector.
Haji, thanks. Thank you very much. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on in the BPO sector in Bacolod, and we're happy to see it growing. I think maybe not many people in other parts of the country realize your contribution or how many workers are already employed in Bacolod City.
Right.
So, and I think it's once you solve your skills gap and your talent challenges, I think you'll be able to get more people into that business. And as you said, it's hard to estimate what's going on in the gig economy, but clearly there's a lot of things happening there as well. So thank you so much for that. At this stage, I'd like to invite all our speakers to turn on their screens and join us in the panel. We have a few minutes for Q&A. We'll just go a little bit over time if you don't mind, because there's some really good questions. Let me welcome Mayor Albi Benitez, Tere Manalili, and Haji Aquino back on the stage. And let's take a look at some of the questions. I think first they're asking us if we can have a photograph taken. So maybe make sure everyone's got their videos on and a smile. Dennis, maybe you could turn your video on. We also have Dennis Javier from Globe Telecom. Turn on the videos and let's get the photograph done, and then I'm going to get started with the questions. Michan, you're taking care of the pictures?
I'm taking it, sir. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, got it, sir.
Great, thank you. And we're also joined by Dinky Bonainsidel here on the panel. So let me start with the questions, and we'll try to go through them quite quickly. Most of them are directed at you, Mayor. So let me get started with that. Mayor, there's a question here about the physical condition of the 3 Bacolod markets. They need major improvements, and they do not maximize their potential as commercial centers. Any specific plans to on the modernization and improving the physical condition of the Bacolod markets?
Yeah, well, all 3 markets are being studied now for a complete overhaul. We're thinking of completely renovating the 3 markets. One of the suggestions, because it's located in an area where there is not enough space for terminal, not enough space for what we call bagsakan, where people deliver their goods to the market. So we're looking at putting the terminal and the bagsakan in another floor, probably in the second or third floor. So from one story market, we're looking at probably 3-story markets. There's an initial design. I'm gonna present this to the stakeholders and see what they have to say. If they have any suggestions, proposals that they'd like to incorporate to this design. But otherwise, it's as far as I'm concerned, it seems to be a viable concept.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Dinky, let me call on you. You had a few questions in the Q&A box. Maybe you'd like to ask them directly.
Yeah.
Dinky Bonaisilo.
Well, as Mayor Albi knows, I'm a frequent visitor of Bacolod since I do
Yes.
have a second home in Silay, which is just a few kilometers away. But one of the things, Mayor, that I've been discussing with Frank Carbon of the Bacolod Chamber of Commerce is the idea of food banks. And it ties in with what you mentioned about food security. So I'll be in Bacolod on Friday, actually, and so I've arranged to meet with Frank and to discuss the idea of this food banks. And I think we might be able to help in your program with regard to the food security initiative that you mentioned. Thank you.
My understanding of the food bank is what? Is a storage facility, a cold storage, or something that
Well,
you will
it
store?
can, yeah, it can include that. It can include that because, as you know, the logistics is an issue, and you know, especially during the pandemic, the food supply became a little bit of a problem. But it's also kind of like a trading system, but it's kind of something that maybe the government can participate in and somehow, you know, rationalize rather than just leaving it entirely to the private sector. It's something that the idea I picked up from Illinois. It's a statewide program that was started in the state of Illinois, but I understand it's also being done in other states in the US. And you know, the idea is catching on, and so I shared the idea with Frank, and I hope to discuss it with them further when I get there.
Sure. I'm already willing to listen to the concept. The idea is to be able to eliminate wastage from every
Yes.
aspect, basic services and basic needs. You know, we seem to be inefficient in terms of the whole ecosystem, which makes prices go up. So if we can focus on the supply chain, the logistical requirement, and reduce wastage, I'm sure, you know, we'll be having a more affordable pricing of our products.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. See you here.
Yeah, thank you, Dinky. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I have another question here coming from an anonymous attendee. They're asking, what are your plans to address flooding in the old business district?
Is that I lost you for a while?
Sorry. Yeah,
Can you
sorry,
repeat
Mayor.
it?
Let me repeat the question, Mayor. What are your plans to address flooding in the old business district?
There's actually a master plan for our flood projects, and basically they've identified that most of the natural river flow, the outlets of the water coming from the mountains are actually either impeded or some have some sort of obstacle. So the first thing to do is to allow the natural flow of water go directly to the sea. So it's the outlets surrounding the old Bacolod city, or the center of the city, that we should declug and provide a better drainage system to allow the flow of water to get out.
Thank you, Mayor. There's another comment and a question here, Mayor. Let me just read it as is. I would like to congratulate you. I would like to congratulate to what you have done in the city for your first few weeks as city mayor. Bacolod is booming right now. My question would be, what would be the steps or program for the city to improve more the MSMEs, especially those whose business is in urban agriculture in the city? So what can you do to improve life for the MSMEs, especially those whose businesses are engaged in urban agriculture in the city?
Same with what I've discussed earlier, right? We need to focus really on the supply chain. Now, the supply chain plays a very important role in any of business establishment, whether large, small, or medium. It's making sure that market and the demand and the supply side are actually efficiently linked to each other. So government would be in the best position to do some intervention to make sure that the supply chain are efficiently operating, or the transactions are not being wasted or some sort of impeded or going to several directions. So once people start understanding, because in any business transaction, you want to be as close as possible to the market. And as you will get further and further away, then things start to collapse in terms of pricing, supply, and all those things. So what we want to do is make sure that we closer the gap between the supply and the demand.
Thank you, Mayor. Haji, let me turn over to you. I have a question here. With regards to talent development, there are many who are currently working menial jobs, but who would like to explore a career in BPO. Are there short courses for a minimal fee, if not for free, offered by Benefit or any other entity that cater to developing skills needed by the BPO sector? I remember you mentioned the Bacolod City College. Is that one example, or are there other examples of short courses to develop people for BPO?
Right. Well, definitely, the Bacolod City College will play a huge role for that long term in making sure that we have a steady stream of fresh talent, and even providing those that are working menial jobs to explore opportunities and in the BPO sector. And we're very glad to know that Mayor Albi is very supportive of that initiative. But for an immediate effect, I think what we are exploring with Amazon Web Services, that training program, specifically the Restart program of the Amazon Web Services, is definitely gonna provide these individuals an immediate pathway for exploring these very how do I say this? A less complex type of job in the ICT industry. So if they can do data entry jobs or some sort of a back office management work, then this program will be perfect for them, tailor fit for people that are unemployed and underemployed, which primarily the sector that was identified by the question. And what's good about this program is that this will directly provide them a path for employment with the Amazon Web Services partners themselves. So we're very excited for that program, and I very much look forward to what we can do with the Bacolod City College to ensure that we provide these people the opportunity that they need.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I noticed you mentioned earlier among the ongoing concerns you have in the industry to expand it, included, of course, more connectivity. So Globe is here taking notes, and I think, Dennis, I think you've had the opportunity to already, your team has had the opportunity to meet with the mayor
Yes,
regarding this thing. So maybe you can let us know what your plans are.
thank you, Bill. Actually, good afternoon, Mayor Albi. I've been communicating actually with through Mar Pedrajas. I think you know him. And we went actually last month to Bacolod City and hosted a digital transformation workshop for all Negros Occidental LGUs, and we hosted it here in Bacolod City. And we, after that workshop, we visited your city hall. Congratulations! It's a very nice, beautiful city hall. And one of the things that occurred, some of the ideas that we thought of, is the intelligent lamppost or smart city lamppost. That might be something that can help improve the security and safety. While I was looking at your presentation earlier, so the solar lighting through the street lamps and the CCTV, as well as the signal improvements and Wi-Fi capabilities of a lamppost. And we can also include other sensors for that matter, which we can connect through your command center. So those are the things that we're exploring, and we're hoping that we can help you in that endeavor.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Dennis. Mayor, let me leave you with the last word before we close for today. Any last messages you'd like to leave us?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, we're trying to position Bacolod into a different kind of mindset moving forward, making sure that we do adopt modern trends, modern technology as part of government transactions. We welcome everybody. I mean, Bacolod is open for business. We are willing to learn. We're willing to find new ways of doing things. We're willing to try out. We're not scared to make mistakes. We would like to move forward in terms of what we have discussed earlier, and maybe to help promote our tourism officer's statement of making Bacolod the next destination in the next couple of months. You probably would like to reserve early because our hotel rooms are running out. And it looks like it's going to be the event to be with, to go to. It will be one of those that you shouldn't miss. So, I mean, feel free and enjoy the warmth and our good festival activities that we are planning for October.
Thank you very much, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank you for presenting your plans for Bacolod City, especially your intelligent city or smart city plans. I think they're really specific. They're wide-ranging. People know exactly what to expect and how to contribute, and I think that's great. I hope more cities follow your lead in that one within the League of Cities. So thank you very much. Tere, thanks for your presentation. Certainly everything, the activities, the sites, the food, extremely tempting, and I can see why those numbers are moving up as far as your arrivals are concerned. Looking at the trends, I think you'll easily beat your pre-COVID number, your 2019 number. I think you'll beat kicks around. And Haji, thanks for describing what the BPO sector has done. No one normally associates BPO with Bacolod, but I think you guys have come a long way, creating a lot of jobs. I think, I have no doubt you will hit your 60,000 jobs target and exceed that once people realize what a great city Bacolod is to live, work, and play. So thank you very much, Mayor, again, and Haji and Tere for today. Thank you to the Globe as well as our partners, League of Cities. We'd like to invite everybody as they leave, of course, reminder to please fill out the feedback forms. You could see them as you exit the Zoom room, or the QR code is going to be visible on your Facebook screens, and you can just please click on, take a picture and fill out the forms. Helps us improve our services. And finally, just a reminder, our next lab is going to be September 14th. And Mayor, we're going to feature this technology that will help public health in sending out automated SMS reminders, reminding people to come in for checkups or to go in for vaccinations, particularly for measles, polio, dengue, and flu, which are all in season now or on the rise. And many people, tend to forget to take these vaccines, even though they're available for free from cities. So a little nudge from an SMS text improves that, and we will introduce that system in a project in a lab that we will put together on September 14th. So those of you interested, we most definitely welcome you to join that discussion. So once again, on behalf of Livable Cities, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Great session.
Mayor.
I look forward to visiting.
Thank you.
Hey, Dinky, thanks for joining us, huh?
Thank you too.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you,
okay.
Bill.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Dennis, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.